Difficult to actually sum up Laszlo in a very short amount of time. He was certainly a polymath. He spoke at least 11 languages. He knew more about Japanese archaeology than most of our Japanese visitors, but maybe it was his role as director in which he was quite open in the fact that he thought the lab should be run by a benign dictator. We all agreed with the fact that he was a dictator. We weren't so sure sometimes about the benign bit. He also decided he was going to be the devil's advocate for any of the science that went round him and would always be asking extremely penetrating questions. However, in my own case, about a year or so after I'd been there, Laszlo came back from a visit to Marcel Bassis's lab in Paris, where he had seen a technique called freeze etching. This is where cells are frozen quickly and sliced through with a razor blade and open up the structure basically in a new way. And he decided it would be a good idea to get a freeze etch machine and freeze etch chromosomes. So the machine was bought, an enormous thing, which actually got through 160 litres of liquid nitrogen in a day. And for a year or so, we tried to freeze etch chromosomes. Unfortunately, because chromosomes have no membranes as such, the fracture planes would never actually show any of their structure. Laszlo wasn't too pleased when I said we were going to stop this. However, we did move on, and then probably 20 years later, a long time after he'd retired, he suddenly appeared back in the labs with David Harnden, the then director, and asked what we were doing. We were looking at the time at nuclear structure with high-resolution scanning electron microscopy, and it was really going quite well. After about 5 minutes of showing him pictures and explaining what we were doing, he smiled and said, "Well, that's exactly what I told you to do 20 years ago." That was Laszlo.